What's up, everyone? Thank y'all for tuning in to the Allen Powell Show. We got a lot to discuss today. The MLB Hall of Fame elected 3 members, 3 baseball players, 1 coach. Championship week this weekend, the Chiefs and Ravens, the Lions and 49ers. I want to know who you all got and the reasons why. But first, we're going to jump it off with the Doc Rivers hiring and Adrian Griffin firing. So with all that being said, let's get ready to lock and load, people.
We lock and load, Allen Powell. It's the Allen Powell Show. Yeah. We lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Powell Show. Yeah. We lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Powell Show. Yeah. We lock and load. It's the Allen Powell Show. Yeah. We lock and load. Come on. Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in to the Allen Powell Show. Y'all make sure y'all share this live so y'all people can hear it. And they can comment and we can post those comments up, and make sure you all comment as well. Post these comments, and we're going to talk about the comments as well. Let's get this show started, man. Doc Rivers hired as a new Bucs head coach. Adrian Griffin fired after a 30-13 start, first year on the job, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out. But it's a few things that I want to talk about regarding Doc Rivers and Adrian Griffin. Let's start off with Doc Rivers. He gets the new job. He was just working at ESPN. And a little backstory, Doc Rivers was the actual advisor for Adrian Griffin at the beginning of the season or before the season. And so it looks kind of funny. Hopefully it wasn't no shenanigans going on with that, but he was his advisor. Now, when it comes to Doc Rivers, he went to Marquette, in the area of Milwaukee. So as a homegrown kind of sort of kid, it looks like it's a good fit as far as location. But I will say this. If this does not work out, I believe Giannis Antetokounmpo will demand a trade. And I'm going to tell you why he will demand a trade. This is not the old Giannis that we're dealing with. This is not the Giannis that's young, just came into the league, trying to figure himself out. This is the Giannis Antetokounmpo who's an MVP. This is the Giannis Antetokounmpo that's a world champion. And now this is the Giannis Antetokounmpo that has a new contract already. If you've been paying attention to Giannis, he's not the same Giannis. He's verbalizing himself more. He's saying how he really feels about things. He's not just being quiet and being coy or just, not ruffling feathers. At this point, I don't think he really cares about who gets offended about what he says. He's going to say how he feels, and he's going to demand a trade if he feels that the front office is in shambles. Because let's look at it. They fired Mike Budenholzer after they lost in the first round. Reason, Giannis got injured, so that's part of the reason why they lost. But they fired him, and it didn't seem like they had a sure concept of who they wanted to get next. So they give Adrian Griffin the coaching job, first time head coach, and then you fire him within 43 games of the season. And so now you bring in Doc Rivers, who has a good pedigree, who's a respected coach. But if it doesn't work out for Doc for whatever reason, let's just say that the locker room doesn't respond to Doc Rivers the way that the owner probably assumed that it would happen. Giannis is going to look around like, listen, I know I said that I want to make sure y'all stay competitive. I want the players to come in and this and that. But if y'all can't get the coach right, then I want out. I think it will be a complete blow up if this doesn't work out, if this doesn't shake out the way they think it will. If the Bucs don't win a championship or for whatever reason, it's just a disaster. Giannis already got his contract. This is the new trend in the NBA. You get your money, and then if you ain't happy, you still ask out. A contract is not a real contract anymore. Nobody is staying committed to the contract. So it doesn't mean as much as it used to be back in the day. People can still sign a contract and still act out of the situation, and they get their way. And I just believe that if it doesn't work out, Giannis will demand a trade. And a lot of the times, teams give the player what they want because they don't want a player that doesn't want to be in their city, in their organization. So they give in to the player. And so this is going to be real interesting following this, how it goes. Right now, I think they got the second or third record in the East. They have a good roster, but they've traded all their draft assets for players, bringing in Dame Lillard and other players. So it's championship or bust. And so Doc Rivers have had his struggles in the playoffs, being up 3-1 multiple times, losing game sevens. So it's not like Doc Rivers is the guaranteed answer for the situation. But he is. I do think that Doc Rivers is a good coach. So, but let's get over to Adrian Griffin's side. So he gets his first job as a head coach, and in the middle of the season, 30 and 13, something like that, and he gets fired. Now, backstory with that is, if you remember at the beginning of the season or preseason, I forget which one, but Terry Stotts quit. He quit before the season even got going. He's the former coach of Damian Lillard in Portland. So I thought that was going to be a good mix with Terry Stotts and Dame Lillard, getting him. He probably can help with how Dame operates. He can help the coaching staff, but he quits. Apparently, Adrian Griffin got into it with Terry Stotts over an altercation, a situation. He wanted him to get in the huddle instead of talk to Dame and Giannis. They got into it. He leaves. That happened. Then reports say Bobby Portis got into it with Adrian Griffin. So you have these things brewing at the beginning of the season. And so it seems like it was some problems going. But I always thought that if you have a good record, I mean, you're top three in the East. You're 30 and 13. I mean, the defense is terrible. They fell back from top 10 to being number 22, but the offense have thrived. Dame Lillard comes in, he's doing his thing. The offense is better. So you traded defense for offense. This is what you got. This is what you got. But Adrian Griffin gets fired in the middle of the season. And so I don't like it. I mean, okay, stuff happens during the season. We seen the Draymond Green incident with Jordan Poole. They at least stuck it out to the end of the season. Those was players, and so they at least gave it to the end of the season. The Bucks couldn't wait to the end of the season to just see what Adrian Griffin could do in the playoffs. You mean to tell me they had to fire him mid-season? I'm curious to find out what else is going on in that situation. And it will probably be some more stuff that comes out about this whole situation. But once again, Doc Rivers is the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. And Adrian Griffin got fired in the midpoint of the season. And I just thought that, they should at least give him the whole season. But what do we know? I mean, Tyronn Lue, took over for David Blatt, and he went on to win the championship, I believe, the same season. So maybe it might work. But we'll see, because now Doc Rivers got to come in with his system, and I guess they think they can get it together before the season is over. He got the rest of the regular season and, the playoffs to get acclimated to the new system. I say this, though. I think what happened is Adrian Griffin didn't have the respect from the players. He didn't have the respect of the players. He didn't have the resume or the pedigree that Doc Rivers had. And so that's why you get Terry Stotts getting into it with Adrian Griffin. Terry Stotts like, who are you? I've been a head coach already. Bobby Portis, I won a championship. I'm a vet. Who are you? This is your first job. And so I think from the outside looking in, it looks like maybe the players didn't respect Adrian Griffin. And, you got the dynamic of coach versus a new head coach versus veteran player. And the owner, I guess, said, you know what? This not working out. I'm gonna get you out of here, and I'm gonna get a veteran head coach, a coach that's won a championship, who's noted as a player's coach, who can probably get this ship back on point. So we'll see how it ends up. We'll be following the season. We got a half the season. We got All-Star break coming up, and then after that, it's really going to start getting serious in the NBA as far as positioning in the standings. Moving on, though, we have NFL playoffs championship week this weekend. These are some big games, but I think one game is bigger than the other. So I'm going to start off with the lesser of the two, in my opinion. We got the Lions at 49ers. And as I look at this game, I got a few things I want to talk about. More family, more fun, checking in on YouTube. What's up, bro? What's going on, man? Thank you for checking in on YouTube. If you got any comments about the hiring of Doc Rivers and the firing of Adrian Griffin, put them comments up. I'll be commenting on it, whatever you put up. So, but championship week is here. So I want to talk about 49ers against the Lions. And I just look at this game, man, and I look at both teams, and I say, I believe one team has more star players, more people to depend on than the other team. And that team is the 49ers. Listen, if I give you these players, you tell me which side you rolling with. So I wrote down the key players for the Lions. Key players. Jared Goff, of course, the quarterback. Jamar Gibbs, David Montgomery, Aiden Hutchinson, Laporta, Dan Campbell. Those 5 people I put question marks next to those names. Jared Goff, he's been to the Super Bowl before. He's got some experience, but I still got questions about him. Jamar Gibbs, a young player, nice young player, but he's not nobody that you can book him for 100 yards or 80 yards. It's nothing that says book him for a certain amount of yards, touchdowns, whatever. Sam Laporta, good tight end. He's a rookie. He's hit or miss. Dan Campbell, I believe first year in the playoffs. I will say this. These are the 3 players that I think that are going to show up for the Lions, no doubt. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like C.J. Gardner-Johnson as a defensive back. I like Brian Branch as a defensive back, and Penei Sewell, the right tackle, who's one of the best in the league. If I go to the 49ers, these are the big names that I circled. Purdy, I put a question mark next to him. He's nice, but I put a question mark. But Christian McCaffrey, I believe he's going to show up. Book him. Ayuk, I like him. You can book him. Debo, if he plays, but he's questionable right now. I say he's 50-50 to play. Kittle, book him. Trent Williams, best left tackle in football, book him. Nick Bosa, book him. Fred Warner, middle linebacker, book him. And I trust Kyle Shanahan more than Dan Campbell. So at the end of the day, I got the 49ers winning this game. If we look at the point spread is 49ers -7. I will say this. I'm taking the 49ers outright, but I will take the Lions +7. I will give them that much respect that I will pick the Lions +7. I will take them with the points, but I'm taking the 49ers outright for the NFC Championship game. That's what I'm rolling with. That's game number 1. Game number 2, Chiefs at Ravens. This one is a little bit harder to pick. You got the potential MVP of Lamar Jackson this year against the defending champ, Kansas City Chiefs, and Pat Mahomes. And I will say this. I picked against Pat Mahomes last week, but I can't do it this week. I thought this was the Bills' year to get over the hump with the Chiefs, and I was wrong. I can't. My heart is saying pick the Ravens. But my head is saying you can't pick against Pat Mahomes. You can't do it. And so with that being said, I'm picking the Chiefs. I don't feel confident in that pick. But I will say this. Defensively, these two good defensive teams. Ravens, I believe like number 1 in the league. If I look at their home and road record, Chiefs can win on the road, and the Ravens are 6-3 at home. So it's going to be interesting. The Ravens are favored by 3.5 points. I'm taking the 3.5 points, and I think I'm going to pick the Chiefs outright. I'm not confident in that pick. So if you're betting, don't, I would caution you. I would say if you pick the Chiefs, take the points. I will say that. I'm not confident in this pick. But it's just hard to pick against Pat Mahomes, man. And I will say this, like, as good as the Ravens are, they are still not explosive enough for me. They are a great football team that can run. Lamar Jackson has been better passing. They got better weapons. Zay Flowers, the veteran of OBJ. Mark Andrews possibly coming back. I like Isaiah Likely as a tight end. And they have a great defense. But I believe to beat the Chiefs, you need to be more explosive. And so with that being said, I'm going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my pick. That's my pick. So I would love to know your picks for the championship week. Let me know your picks in the comments. One thing I forgot to discuss before I got to that was the Bears' new OC, Shane Waldron from the Seattle Seahawks. So, the Bears fired Luke Getsy, and they needed a new offensive coordinator. They picked Shane Waldron from the Seattle Seahawks, who, they let go of Pete Carroll, so they're going to get a new regime. And so the offensive coordinator was open for business. He's a veteran OC. He's been an offensive coordinator for the Seahawks the last 3 years. And he's coached Russell Wilson and Geno the last couple of years. More family, more fun says, I got the Chiefs and Lions in the Super Bowl. Okay. Chiefs versus Lions. I'm okay with you with the Chiefs, but I don't believe the Lions will get past the 49ers. But I could be wrong. Hey, if the Lions win, I would definitely be giving you credit for that pick because that's a courageous pick to pick. He picked the Lions to upset the 49ers in San Francisco. If you pick the Lions, tell me how they will win. I would like to know, why do you pick them to win? Why do you got them winning? Like, what's going to happen in that game? Is it going to be turnovers? Goff going to light it up? Running Amon-Ra St. Brown? Aiden Hutchinson? Strip sacks? What's going to happen in that game? Let me know. I'm curious to know why you picked that. But I like your picks. But getting back to the Bears and Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron, the OC. Listen, I'm curious to see if he's going to make the Bears better. I'm not super excited about the Bears' new OC. As I was looking over his resume and what he did, Russell Wilson in 2021, but his biggest accomplishment, I believe, so far are Geno Smith bringing him back, quote unquote, from the dead. Because Geno was a journeyman quarterback, and then he got with the Seattle Seahawks and revitalized his career. More family, more fun says 49ers are too beat up. That's a good point. Deebo Samuel, we don't know if he's going to play. I don't know what other injuries they got, but that is a key injury. Because Deebo does everything. Wide receiver, running back, out the backfield, sweeps, blocks well. Deebo Samuel is a key component to that offense. So I understand why you say the 49ers are too beat up. If you think Deebo Samuel is basically saying the 49ers are too beat up, okay, I go with that. I give you a hand clap for that. Bears OC though. Bears OC. I look at what the the Seahawks were offensively. So last year, the Bears were 20th in overall offense. Seahawks was 21. So if you look at that, you're like, well, how is he going to make them better? The reason why they picked Shane Waldron is the Bears were second in rushing, but 27 in passing. And the Seahawks were 28th in running and 14th in passing. So I believe the Bears are trying to get better passing. And so if that's the case, you know, they better balance. I mean, okay. We'll see what happens. I mean, he revitalized Geno Smith's career. Maybe he can either help Justin Fields or help Caleb Williams, whatever the Bears decide to do. But my question with that pick, though, for all my Bears fans and all the NFL fans, what does this mean for the Bears going forward? We still don't know what they're going to do going forward as far as the quarterback situation. Does this new OC make it seem they're going to keep Justin Fields, or does this mean that they're going to pick Caleb Williams? Because that, to me, I don't know. I do not know. I still don't know what the Bears are going to do. I go back and forth with this almost every day. One minute I think they're going to keep Justin Fields. Next minute I think they're going to pick Caleb Williams. I don't know what they're going to do. But they do have a new OC. And, I mean, they didn't pick Cliff Kingsbury, who I think had connections with Caleb Williams. So if they didn't do that, that would have been a clear cut, I think, vision of the Bears picking Caleb Williams. They didn't do that. They picked Shane Waldron from the Seattle Seahawks. With that, I don't know what the Bears are going to do. More family, more fun says McCaffrey hobbled. That thigh isn't going to stand up another game. I did see him rubbing his thigh as well. That I didn't hear the latest about his injury report, but that's another good point, because if he's hurt, that's definitely a big deal. It's definitely a big deal if McCaffrey is hurt. More family, more fun might be onto something with that comment about the 49ers are too beat up. If Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey are less than, I would say, 80%, I think you got a point. I think you got a point. If they 80% or higher, I think they get it done. I think if Deebo doesn't play but Christian McCaffrey still plays, I still think the 49ers can get it done. So that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Shane Waldron, what do y'all think about the Bears' new OC? What does it mean for the Bears going forward? Caleb Williams and Justin Fields, who will be the new quarterback? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. If you just joining the show, we talked about Doc Rivers hired as the new Bucs coach and Adrian Griffin getting fired. How do you feel about that? Doc Rivers was the advisor for Adrian Griffin. Now he has the head coaching job. Any shenanigans with that? Do you find it funny? Will he be able to fix the situation? And I also said, I believe Giannis will demand a trade if this doesn't work out. If it somehow doesn't work out, mark my words, I believe Giannis will demand a trade. I said, this is not the old Giannis. This is the new Giannis. A Giannis who won a championship, a Giannis who won MVP, a Giannis who has a new contract already. That's guaranteed. So if he doesn't like a situation, he will demand a trade. I believe that. We also talked about the NFL championship week. Lions at 49ers. I picked the 49ers to win that game. I got the Lions in the points. If you betting with points, I'll take the Lions +7. I got the 49ers outright. And I got the Chiefs over the Ravens. I'm not confident with that pick. I just can't bet against Pat Mahomes. I can't do it. I did it last week, and I was wrong. More family, more fun. If he was the advisor, they knew it was coming eventually, but I think it's too late in the season to be effective for a championship run. Talking about Doc Rivers. That's interesting. You say they knew it was coming eventually. I don't think that's the case. If you give somebody the head coaching a job, because I think he had an advisor because he was a first-time head coach, and so he was just getting advice from a coach who's done it before. So that's what I think would happen. I don't think they knew it was coming eventually. If you say eventually by meaning down the line with some years, I would say I don't think they thought it was coming this year. I don't think that. As far as you think it's too late in the season to be effective for a championship, I think they got time. They got the rest of this season. I think they've got a good record. They're in the top 3 so far, so I don't think they can fall too far where they're going to be in trouble. So I think they can figure it out by the end of the season to make a run at a championship. I think they got enough time. But if you don't think, I mean, it's a good point. It's hard to, they got to learn a whole new system with Doc Rivers and how he likes to do things. So I understand where you're coming from. So with that, other than that, we also had the MLB Hall of Fame. We had Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer got in the Hall of Fame. Some notables, I would say, that was left out. A-Rod did not get in still. Manny Ramirez did not get in. Andy Pettit, who all three of those were linked to steroids at some point. But just thinking about the people that got in as far as the MLB Hall of Fame. Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Joe Mauer. Adrian Beltre, I think, out of all of them, was the most deserving. Adrian Beltre, I remember him being a great defender, but he had 477 home runs, over 3,000 hits, and he had 5 gold gloves. So to me, surefire Hall of Famer. Now the other two, I mean, Todd Helton had a 316 lifetime batting average. That's great. 369 home runs, 25, 19 hits. Pretty good, but for my Hall of Fame, like, I want them to be like super elite. That's just me. I remember Todd Helton watching him play at Coors Field with the Rockies. Great hitter. But I think, the batting average is elite, great for me. 369. Usually the Hall of Fame is 500, even in the 400s, but 369, he wasn't a power hitter. He was more of a slash hitter, in my opinion. 25, 19 hits, 2,519 hits. That's pretty good. But I always look at the 3,000 hit mark as a key component for the Hall of Fame. Joe Mauer, I think among catchers, he ranks among the top 11. The 11 that are already in, he ranks among them. So that's why he got in. 143 home runs, not really impressive as far as the Hall of Fame goes. 2,123 hits, that's okay, but doesn't do it for me. And the 366 batting average, I would say that's elite. And he had an MVP on his resume. So I get it. But those are the 3 members who made it to the Hall of Fame. So that's it. It's interesting that the people that's linked to steroids still haven't gotten in. I wonder how long that's going to go. In my opinion, they should let these people in, man. And baseball knew what was going on. They profited from all the steroid people. They brought baseball back, and now y'all trying to hold these people out. The writers and all these people, like, stop it, man. Let these people in. If you want to put something next to it to say they use steroids or whatever the case may be, then do that. But don't keep these guys out of the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, A-Rod, all these people deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Y'all profited off of them. They brought baseball back. Chicks dig the long ball. That's what y'all said. Y'all made commercials and all types of stuff. And now all of a sudden, y'all want to keep them out. Trash, as Bubba Dub would say. Trash. Okay. Going forward, I do have a come to church scripture today, and that is 1 John 5:14. That says, "This is the confidence we have in approaching God. If we ask anything according to his will, he hears us." And I think it's a good scripture. It was the scripture of the day. And a few things that stuck out to that scripture is the word confidence, and especially in approaching God. I think when we approach God in prayer, we need to approach him in confidence. And I think according to scripture and based on what I read, he likes it and he responds to confidence. So speaking to myself, I think I will be more confident in approaching God. I would try to speak with more boldness. I know y'all probably thinking like, oh, God knows everything, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, but I'm going off the scripture. I'm going off the word. This is the confidence we have in approaching God. And then in the Amplified version, it says, this is the remarkable degree of confidence which we as believers are entitled to before God, before him. So as believers, we are entitled to certain things when it comes to God based on the scripture. We should come to God with a remarkable degree of confidence because we are believers and we are entitled to have confidence in approaching God. So that's in the Amplified, man. And And then another word that stuck out was anything. It says that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And then his will is definitely important. We need to know his will as far as what he wants for our life, and that is consistent with his plan and purpose. And then if we know that, we know he hears us. And the rest of the scripture goes, if we know he hears us, we know we have whatever we ask for. So I would say, in this scripture, when you're praying to God, if you are a believer, come with confidence. You are entitled to certain things when it comes to God. And we as believers are entitled to certain things according to the scripture in the Amplified version. So 1 John 5:14, just something that a few things stuck out to me with this scripture. I appreciate y'all, rocking with me and all this time. Listen, if you want to support, you can send stars on Facebook. So please subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I got the Allen Pals sweater on right now. If you rock with us on the show, you can purchase your own merch, shirts, hoodies, tank tops, anything. Ask for anything, we could try to make it happen. And we ship long distance, so you can do that. So with all that being said, man, I look forward to seeing what happens in the sports world going forward. And thank y'all for checking us out. With that being said, I'll see y'all next time. We out.
We lock and load, Allen Pals. It's the Allen Pals Show.